Hello. If it seems like couple videos or so cut off at the end of a video, they do sometimes, but I fixed this one and I wanted to talk about the higher octave of love. We can't talk about it enough, enough, but we shall, because that's the only way to make a breakthrough. See, the love that um, is showing up that is limited to the sensation where we get locked into the illusion of an other being there. See, the highest octave of love doesn't get caught in the illusion of people. See, the highest octave of love is practicing no mind and is completely present in this moment. And that's a tightrope walk that most people can't do it, first of all, right? Money has them running to a place, but see, it doesn't have to be that money keeps you completely distracted from the now, because the now is never going to leave. But it does. It puts us in fragments of our real life as far as now, what are we working for? What's the goal? And really, it's like the goal is in life, if it is life itself, is always to just become fully present to this moment now. I mean, there isn't any other place that you're going to go or be, right? And still, having said that, there's an entire world out there chugging on the freeway that says, "Yeah, right, Shauna, get real." I'm like, so I will. I am real. I'm more real than you at this point, because you have convinced yourself of something. It's amazing and everything. I didn't say that whole. I'm not ungrateful to what mankind has been doing with the massive amounts of crap that has developed over what? Is it really efficient because they have mastered the ability to love, or is it really just inefficiency kind of? It's just like nobody's questioning this ungodly, exhausting out, chugging, fucking materialistic with like it's unfathomable to think about is everything going to, right? Like the cars and the cell phones and all the gadgetry and all this. It's like I often think, like, okay, it's composting, it's going somewhere. Where is it going to end up? It goes into the ocean, and does it glom on? You know what I mean? It's like, is it going to fossilize? I mean, does it compost out? I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, because I don't think this has ever happened, ever, because if it did, it sure did compost out really well. We don't see any signs of telephones and tires and just gadgetry, right? Did you ever imagine? It's like, how fucking amazing! And why has that happened? It's not necessarily because everybody's relaxed here and found love. No, they're running and they've transferred an addiction that should be, if it's, people think that addiction is bad, and it's only bad when you have a completely unhealthy thing that you're latching onto, that doesn't like fruit out and say tons for you guys, tons, right? And that's kind of what is happening. Why we have cars, why we have planes, why we have everything that we have is because somebody got addicted, and also they got pissed. People blame, and they say, no, anger is no good. Do I have my babies? The babies are sleeping. Anger, they say anger is no good. No, and nip that. And it's like, no, it's highly productive. It's what has brought things here into a better quality, right? Doing quality control. It's like, hey, stop shitting in in a bucket like that. Why don't we learn how to put it in the ground? And then even just in the ground, why don't we just keep, who knows what we're doing? Why we collect it in vats over there and do nothing with it? Because the saying goes, it's not a saying, but the scientists say, and in Harvard over there, they're doing us a lot of good, by the way, just by saying science suggests, but you can do the math with your good imagination and just stay in school all day and say, well, that's it. Do you want to do it or not? Let's get to it. They say that 33 trillion gallons of sewage comes out of LA, the city of LA alone. And that's enough methane gas to fuel something like 3 billion cars for 1 year, if they were all to, or to, it's just enough gas to gag a maggot. Anyway, Um, you know that there was a civilization once before that probably does this already. You know, they've probably know so much more on another planet. There's probably just a huge symbiotic, amazing thing going on. Humans are kind of different than anything that you can say that is so-called natural here to this plane. Nothing is natural, by the way, but human beings are very peculiar. We are technologically based. In fact, we have creators in outer space, and they created us. And here, who knows why it is the way it is here. But there's a lot of complaint, right? I mean, can we get away without complaining? You know, the truth is with the near-death experience, NDE experience, you know, you can tear through thousands and thousands of them and start gaining a certain algorithmic play about you gather something with that. You have to still think on your own, but then look into it and gather like, okay, so the main thing that comes up is that, you know, you're confronted with this thing that says, didn't you notice? And then you had questions too, and then some of them like some cases who fell into the trap of the medical system where they had a symptom or something come up, and maybe it was their food or a bad habit that they took on, a suggestion, and they had a bad reaction to it in their body. So they go to a doctor, and the doctor says, "Oh, this is because your genes. They're misinformed," and they say, and it's called low cholesterol or something like that, and then they give you a pill for it, and that starts to cause even more side effects. And then they take another pill for those side effects. And so some people are laying on their bed after a while, they're literal in their house going, oh my God, you know, they're about to die because there's so much going on with their body. And so they die um, from following medical malpractice across the board, but really it's their bad habit. They should have listened to their body somewhere along the line, right? That you can't live on Twinkies and Kool-Aid in the morning, day in and day out. It's going to catch up with you. And then you go to the doctor and they say, well, I think you have, you know, this is common for people your age. And you're what? And they try to talk about your heritage and your ancestry. And it's like, no, maybe it's something bad you're doing every day. And they never ask you, well, what are you doing every day? You know, but boil it down, become self-aware. Hello. So anyway, with that, the NED people, they go up there with, to God, and God says, will you please? See, God tells them every secret, and they get healed and everything, and they go like, oh, my God, I can't believe, what is this? And they're like, they think it's home, you know, they find that it's home, and they go, oh, thank God I made it, and I don't ever want to leave. And it's like, no, I'm sorry, but we have news for you. And it's like, what? Well, you have to go back down because there's something you're fucking up. I mean, you have some work to do. And when you do that work, you know, if you ever do it and you make a breakthrough, can you write something down, do something, radiate it to the people, tell people about it, say, hello, I found something, help people. Okay? And that is once you find something, and it can't be like the monetary system or like, here, take this pill. Oh, yeah, where are these earphones? Here, put your blindfold on. No. Okay? The God will tell them, see, you go up and you're like, "Oh, I always have these questions about everything," and he'll tell you everything or whatever it is that you go and confront. But the main thing is that you don't remember it, you know, so what? But he'll make you remember, will you please stay away from the medical system? Don't go there anymore. Stop taking the pills right now. Fast. Don't trust the food so much. Thank you. Go down. Tell a friend. So that's what happens, you know. It does. Some people, and so my point is that um, you would never know that there's a school down here that says that there's like a lot of stuff in the world that you should not do, particularly just the world itself. No, 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 don't do that. That's the world is something that happens when you've lost your spiritual last somehow, and it's like those people. Are we having fun yet, kids? They're like, no, save us. You know what I mean? The poor things. Those are the only things. See, it starts right there, where because they are our little cleansers. You don't own your children. God does, and that means that it's out of your hands. Hey, just do the right thing. There's three things here. One of the main thing, the one that is to make it safe, get a safe shelter, and the only shelter here that is safe is love. When you become the highest octave, here's how it is. It's not a mind there. It's just, it's it's your being. And you know, you have gone through so much as far as your mind being disconnected. You're not a mind anymore. You're not playing a game of I win, you lose, and the punishment rewards system. How about that? That's overlaid that the money does. That it doesn't matter if you've hit the truth. Just did you get our system right in accordance to what we drill into you every morning that you come here? Um, um, did you get that answer right? It's an answer. And it's not really an experience like of just saying now, because the real experience of punishment reward is of the truth. God. God and the truth is the same. And so God will punish you, and or the truth will punish you, and or reward you. It's like this, you know, the truth is as simple as a curb out there on the street. And some people, narcissists, they have a constant bloody toe because it hurts. They are constantly hurt there, and it's hard, you know, on them to walk. You know, be careful because they'll have their sandals on. You go on a hike, and they look at you and they'll blame you because their toe hurts. It's like, no, babes. First of all, watch where you're going, and then second of all, wear shoes every once in a while. Put some good boots on, especially when you're doing the tundra. And so, the truth is a curb, and if you don't lift your feet up and get over it, you're going to run into it, and it's going to hurt. That's what the narcissists, they try to have this argument too. That, if God was a real God and doesn't wipe my ass with sugar-coated fucking, you know, silk toilet paper, then, you know, what good is that? And it's like, well, no, it's because it's your responsibility to get on the same wavelength at least. You know, and play the game a little bit. You know, do you have your eyeballs? Here, open them up. And now we're getting on to age 4, and basically that's not really a problem for kids. Kids don't have that problem. What happens is what happens. Is what happens. Do we get out of this, like this entrapment where it's all of a sudden you're harnessed up, and whew, how many vaccines do you have to get before the age 3, kids? Did you have control over that? When do people wise up enough and start getting more and more protective and saying, excuse me, but did you know that there is so many ways to create a healthy being through celebrating the truth about that and saying, yeah, no, that curb is there. Step over it. My legs get better looking, you know, when you start really doing it. And see, that's more and more it's going to come up. We're just going to say, hey, excuse me. See, when Pluto goes into a Capricorn for the last time, which I say it's there now, but when it hits 29 degrees, that's when we count it. That's for sure. See, what's happening is that Venus is trining it, and it's a really good time to hear somebody, Venetian. It's a time for soothsaying, to tell you the truth. And those Venus Pluto kind of people, if you ever knew one, the trine is kind of more of an innocent. We're going to put on our uniform and get this done. See, it's different than the narcissist wearing a uniform. It's more like they have an honest intention. They are the counselors within the reform school or something. They're trying to they're trying to get something almost impossible, more clarity, and to actually do the counseling that helps people up out of darkness, and it's near impossible here in the USA. In fact, it's not working. There's a fake system that is in place that does not see. They have created the illnesses, and they're like, oh, and now we'll help you. And that's the common problem reaction solution. It kind of gets blatant right in front of our face. But anyway, don't want to lose train of thought. As far as your interest is concerned, it is my interest when I start getting on a train, to pull forth the imagination into your perception, to be able to see a possibility beyond what we talk about as narcissist, who is fully encapsulated mind. And they are some of the most uncreative people. They don't know how to take a blank canvas like this, and they're using stencils. They don't know how to draw from their mind. Say, can you draw us a cup? And they don't really have that in them, see, to be creative. See, even if there was a teacher there, they probably couldn't learn. Um, um, they have a learning disability as far as, because if they aren't reality oriented, and they are bent on um, living in denial about it, because they're catering to the mind which says, no, I know. It's the intellect which says, I know better. And coupled with the system, the fake punishment reward system that is actually punishing people who know better by way of employing so many people around them that says, no, we know better, right? And there's how you can get from household to household. It's like, okay, so all right, time to regroup now. I see that there's nothing but psychos living up and down here. Some of them, that's a whole mixture. Sociopaths. I met a bunch the other day. They work at the I don't want to say the foundation's name, but I'm pretty sure all of the fixtures up here in my community, because it's the world condensed, I call it, the main fixtures who have set themselves up that are actually posing as public services, they are there because they have learned to strip down that that organization. They know how to plug into, and really they're working together, because the higher ups are saying, okay, so what do you want to do? For instance, if it's community service or something, they'll say, okay, so we have free foods for you. We have the Riverside, the county, and it becomes more now as you're going back into the system. Their foods are poisonous. And you do not want to eat any of their stuff that's coming out of there. It's a big halt. No, we're actually having a crisis because we can't get it nourished right now. And are you have to ask them, and they think that you're ridiculous for asking for something that will make you feel better when you say, well, can I have non-GMO organic, please? And some of them have been, like the place I went to, they're like, oh, and they try, see, they're supposed to ask you what you want because they're cashing in on you being there by way of filing you in, and they get paid to do that. There's other organizations up here that do that. There's the Woody people. I already ratted on them. It's like, good for you, and they're all working in unison. See, now there's other organization too. Now, getting back to just sociopaths run them, for the psychopath. Narcissists can do this, but if they're a sociopath, here's how it goes. You get the 1,000 questions up, looking up and down. And what they're doing is they're scanning. They're trying to find an insecurity. They're trying to find anything that wavers in energy, because in everything that you answer about questions, it's just they keep asking. And it's like, you know what? You don't need to know all of this because you work here and you know why I'm here and stuff like this, right? But no, if it's a clique as tight as it's going on, see, it's cliqued around the world. Clique means it's a club, and it's like a hive, and they somehow they do this. See, I talked about it, it cut off among one of my other videos about the dark triad. Tri means a third, and ad means addition. And see, there's a third. There's three dimensions here, and there's why don't you log into the third party witness, which is reality, the final frontier. See, this is why they have cameras and stuff up, because it's like nobody's connected to it, and you can bet that that's benevolence trying to help us there, because we'll begin to see behaviors. Most of the population is into here, and they don't know why to have the cameras up anymore. Because you are completely disconnected. If you hurt yourself, we can go back and see. Well, look, this person doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. Anyway, I don't know. So the dark triad is, in fact, it's just outside of this dimension. It's a control system. It's we're trying to still, a lot of people. If you look it up, David Icke talks about this, um, and yeah, it's interdimensional. If you want to talk about intergalactic, when you say that, really, it's the right word is interdimensional. But we do have the possibility of having an understanding so deep, and raising our consciousness so much, that we can enter um, into the realm of energy, which is the kingdom of heaven, which now we're using it in such a way that is gravitational, free energy, um, I was going to say weaponry, but just vehicles and stuff. When it's converted away from the weaponry and more into livingry, away from creating an imprisonment and really tiptoeing around, doing the totalitarian tiptoe kind of thing. But really, it's hard to tell what's happening here. There's a big fucking mix of stuff going on now. The dark triad is what it's called. You can look it up. Harold Kultz, K VULTS TZ Villa VELLA Villa. You want to look up that also tag it onto his last name. He channels. He's a physicist and a scientist, but he's channeling what is happening. We're trying to piece it together. Like, well, why? What is controlling on a massive scale? See, I can just about explain to you it. The Matrix the movie, The Matrix tries to tell us, well, here's how it is. When, like, see, the programming that's going on. And so then Mr. Smith just shows up and hunts down Neo or anybody who is feeling a different way. And see, I was trying, it's the same video. It's just unfortunately when they do wake up, there isn't a place for them to go. Like in my place, I know what happened with me. I'm fully awakened, and it should be a community that says somebody has awakened, and they should because they're awake and we're all awake. There should be like woo, and then a shrine. You become a community of Oh, mane padme hum, oh, mane padme hum, oh, mane padme hum. Now what is it? Very little do I have to show for it as far as these materialists around here, but I know how to give. When I have apples that come off my tree, I give them away up here. When I have eggs up here, I give them away up here. Every single thing that you have, as far as even your skeleton, it's a fucking burden until you learn how to give and how to let it go and say, no, we are here to just find out what can we do with this, and it's a perpetual thing that will begin to happen. That talk about punishment, reward, blah blah blah. Um, it's the universe now that you're feeding into when you start creating a better human ecology that is humane. In fact, when people start feeling the other way to live that isn't so binary process, I win, you lose, narcissistic brainheads, fully encapsulated, held by, there's something, I was trying to tell you, there's something that says, um, let's see, now, is it a cleaning system? Is it good or bad? Think with me. Think with me, because, like, who makes it out? And why does it seem like that we get our IQ sucked out of us and we don't win? It's right now, it's a struggle for my generation, particularly any generations that aren't, like, completely, like, they're doing money and they want, now be careful of that. I tried to talk about it, like, it's like this grab to try to get energy. Really, um, it's not right that the older generation tries to take from the fact that the new generation says, no, we're going to change. We have our life and we do it like this. And then they say no, and they clamp down and they start sucking on your loosh of depression that you just can't seem to make it. Did you make it to level 50 yet? And then now what? Did you notice that if you have any of your health, it wasn't because of anything out there. It was because either you accidentally did something that helped you, or that you were consciously you were entrancing into something else. For me, it would be music all my life, and then, of course, having escaped into the mountains all my life to meditate and be in that environment. Not saying that I'm not going through intense experiences of who I am with other people, relating, reflecting, going through. It's just a unique life, okay? So, but there's certain things that you need to go through in order to, it's like either you're going to accidentally hit the point of being able to have enough self-reflection and also meditation time to begin to question it correctly. And do you ever see, we're looking at whole lifetimes of people that never get a quench, a thirst of their own heart's knowledge that already knows from the very early that no, there's a certain way and a certain, stuff going on here. And it's like, no, there's people around you who can care less about your upbringing, about you getting into that place where, see, they were probably disenfranchised. And it's a hand-me-down. There's your narcissism right there. There's your dark triad that says abuse, abuse, abuse. And then now it's on a different level of grief and false self. False self that is completely implanted with all of these different ways of reaction and stuff, and how to think about how it all, because it's always there, that influence there. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for listening to this. Because otherwise, there's loving people around you that allow space, and it's rare. I mean, if you're lucky, I mean, it's kind of like, well, you're better off being born into a situation where like everybody was so unable to be present in such a way they couldn't helicopter. They were just, what if their arms and their legs were cut off? It's like, sorry, kid, and then they just like threw you in a basket inside of and just float down the river, and then you're picked up you're lucky to be picked up by a pack of wolves who actually take care of you. It's better to have that happen than to be in there full of people that think they know what they're doing. That now it's time that we can tell the kids something. It's like, no. Tell yourselves something in front of them and make sense to yourselves, and then they will probably see, yeah, these people are safe. They look at that very early, very early. They're only doing this like mimicry because they want to be accepted. You don't even know if you study child psychology. See, this is the problem with narcissists, is that they think that attachment development is love. No, no. And see, the highest octave of love is way beyond thinking that even people exist. Now, I'm going to close this out by saying something very daring. See, this is the thing where I fell off my ass because I have no problem loving even narcissists. I have no problem with loving. See, but when you see, this is how it is. It's just, I was always able to take care of myself. I was always to resource myself. Very little do I need. And then you share, right? With the money thing, very little that I need. And then that's just besides the point. And then you have what, Friday off and Saturday, and you're trying to work things with people. And I've always been just loving, always. And of course, you're giving, and that's like the sun. The highest octave is just going to give. Just always give. It's not a problem. But when you start getting invested in some sort of way, like right, your resources or something, or you're turning dependent. Now, the word, I've never heard the word codependent until a long, long time ago, right? I first get my first job, and then it's time to do your taxes or something, and you hear people talking amongst themselves, and they say, well, how many codependents you have? And so money does that for us. And then the next time I hear about it is when, oh no, codependency, what is it? See, people think it's a disease that you get. No, you are given the disease you can be rendered down into a codependent, disabled, by way of dealing with what is called, there's a certain kind of narcissist that strips you of your confidence and of your own ability, and they don't even know they're doing it, by the way. It's completely unconscious, I think. But no, it's programming. It can be coupled with the dark triad, which is, now you want to get into your churches and a lot of your foundations that says, oh, we're helping you, and then they turn out to be what, molesters and fucking sexual offenders and even kidnappers and then poisoners, and you know what I'm saying? So thanks for listening to all this. We can keep going on, and it's important, like the Channel 4 news, to just never get off the subject matter of what the possibility is here. And I'm telling you, SM is sent down by all of your. There's a chance for you to be able to make a difference. To play the game. It's a video game, by the way. My favorite video game nowadays is to edit my most crappy is videos when I'm in a very low state and I'm not doing very good illumination for us. I'm right in the middle of it. I'm just I'm preparing. See, I have to go to a hotspot with my phone, and then see, I'm really depending on that when I get PayPal electronic pay, that people will be able to support me better. I could tell you my story as to why I feel that out of all the people, see, I saw something the other day that said something about your cell phone taking you away from your family. It's your watch. It's become your watch. It's become your TV. It's whatever. But don't let it replace your family. It's like bullshit. It's supposed to replace your family. What I mean is, you're supposed to pull your heads out of each other's asses as far as that egotistical shit. Reorientate yourself to the family that's on this planet Earth called human beings. Take part in the video game, because I'm going to start bringing up the definition. Organization. It's organization against association. See, the associations, your company people, company oriented, and the clubbing, they are doing strength in numbers. The way that the organization does it is we do it by way of heart, and it's not strength, but it's power through resonation. And I'm going to keep on with this until somebody steals it, some narcissist, and they think, oh God, this is a great idea. And that's the funny thing about them, is they copy and they take all of the trends, but if you take the trend that will actually be beneficial and start working, and then make them loop back into that and start working it, that's fine. See, it will actually take hold, and see, but Now, how do we make it popular? How do we make it popular? Well, this SM is here for a reason. It's called social media for a reason. See, we don't have a social system yet. Not really. It's there. It's in the background. See, I go to a place. It's called the Social Services Division. Why do they call it division? It's not what you think. It's not what you think. There are headquarters. Why do they call it headquarters? Headquarters. See, you do have a collective um, operations going on. See, there's an interception going on. See, God is the one who's in control here and that gives us our downloads and helps us raise up into our fullest potential as technology, into hooking into technologies also. But when it's hijacked by the dark triad, which we're wondering, what is it? Is it just a parasite in another dimension? Like it is too, though. See, because us storytelling gurus, shamans, we've done interdimensional work and we've gone through the veils. We've checked it out, and there. See, and you don't go check yourself out into a mental institution. No, you check out the books that were written before by the shamans, like Carlos Castaneda, and any of the other shamans really that have been doing interdimensional work, like just knowing any shaman that can help you as a guide say no, you go, you need to know that your third eye could be trying to open and you're not going crazy, and it includes the way that you go into dreams and stuff, and you begin to see things in a certain way and have experiences and stuff. So thanks for listening to this. It's minute 31 and I'm making some videos here in this row, but it's only the 25th, and they'll go across the beginning of September, and I hope you enjoy these. I'm actually in a it's in between for a lot of us, and you have to be careful about this. See, you have to knock off the programming. You might have been sucked into a trauma bond. Everybody is. Everybody is afraid of death. And just know this, that you guys have yet to get real when you get away from the way that you're chugging and running for what? See, because now you're being trained into just going away from like grabbing onto people. And what I mean is to say, is there another way than feeling so alone and fucked up? And I hate to sound like unrealistic, but no, this is going to keep chiseling away at the possibility that are we going to make it? The human race, is it going to be able to make it against their own ignorance, like say how to live, when things start to crumble down, and they are kind of are. You notice there is something now of the last of the last that is coming down, and it has nothing to do with the poor experiencing their lives crumbling. No, I'm not somebody who's like doing poor and rich wars. No, I'm against the impoverished soul that doesn't know how to live, that gets all of these resources and works and works and works and works, and they think it's so that they can get on top of people. And it's like, no, will you please, and throw that system out. Everything needs to be converted. All the chugging away and the watering of, like you see on the freeway over there, they put ice plants in and they water it and they water it, and it's just a beautiful oasis in the middle of a freeway, and not a single thing can live on that, no human beings. And we need to change that. Change it. There's too many people right now still alive that's turning green, and you stink like shit, by the way. And you're saying, no, that doesn't make sense. No, because the homeless would come up and they would pick the trees, and then what would they do? They just sit there and they don't do anything. Fuck you. You people are too busy. So busy, the sparks are flying, and the opposite of something productive is happening. You're a ditch digging society, creating a desert full of ditches. Oh, yes, your success. The more you fucking chug, the more ditch digging you do, especially for the potential of our human embodiment here, evolution. Okay, kids. Next, we run for the hills and consider the lies